all-night society. This happened 3 years ago. I live in a small town in the Appalachian Mountains. I like to drive my truck on old logging roads. It is quiet there. I usually go alone to clear my head. It was a Tuesday in October. The sun was going down. The sky was turning gray. I was about 10 miles into the woods. The road was narrow and full of rocks. There are no houses out there. There is no cell phone service. I rounded a sharp corner. I saw a man standing in the middle of the road. I hit my brakes. My truck stopped about 20 feet from him. He was tall. He wore a heavy brown jacket and dirty jeans. He didn't have a hat. His hair was long and messy. He was just standing there. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking down at his feet. I waited for him to move. He stayed still. I honked my horn twice. The sound was very loud in the quiet woods. He did not flinch. He did not look up. I rolled my window down an inch. "Hey," I yelled, "do you need help?" The man slowly lifted his head. He didn't look at my face. He looked at my tires. Then he looked at my windshield. His face was very pale. He didn't have any expression. He looked like he was made of stone. I felt a chill on my neck. Something felt wrong. This man was miles from the nearest town. He had no backpack. He had no water. He started to walk toward my truck. He did not walk fast. He took slow, heavy steps. He kept his hands in his pockets. "Stay back," I said. My voice was shaking. He didn't stop. He walked right up to my driver's side door. I locked the doors. The click was loud. He stopped when he heard the lock. He stood right outside my window. He was so close I could see the mud on his coat. He leaned his head forward until his forehead touched the glass. He still didn't look at me. He looked at the seat next to me. Then he started to pull on the door handle. He pulled it hard. The truck rocked a little bit. He did not say a word. He just kept pulling. I looked in my rearview mirror. I saw movement in the bushes behind my truck. 2 more men stepped out onto the road. They were holding long wooden sticks. They didn't say anything either. They just stood there watching. I didn't wait. I put the truck in reverse. I mashed the gas pedal. My tires spun on the gravel. I hit a small tree, but I didn't stop. I backed up fast for about 50 yards. The man at my window fell down when I moved. The other 2 calling out for help. They were just running. I swung the truck around. I drove over some bushes to turn the truck the right way. I drove as fast as I could. I hit every bump hard. I didn't care about the truck. I just wanted to get out. I looked in the mirror one last time. The 3 men were standing in a line in the middle of the road. They were just watching me go. I reached the paved road 20 minutes later. I drove straight home. I locked all my doors and closed the curtains. I don't go on logging roads anymore. I don't go into the woods at all. I don't know who those men were, and I don't want to know. I just know they weren't looking for help. I was driving home late. It was about 2 a.m. I was in the Appalachian Mountains. The roads there are very curvy. My gas light turned on. I needed to find a station soon. I saw a sign. It was small and dim. I pulled off the main road. The gas station was very old. It had 2 pumps. One pump was broken. There was a black truck parked near the side of the building. The engine was running, but no one was inside it. I got out of my car. The air was cold. It was very quiet. I did not like the feeling. I went to the pump. It did not take credit cards. I had to go inside to pay. I walked to the door. I saw a man sitting behind the counter. He was an old man. He looked very pale. He was shaking. I said, $20 on pump 1, please. The old man did not look at me. He looked at the back of the store. I turned around. There was another man standing near the drinks. He was tall. He wore a heavy coat. He was just standing there. He did not have any food or drinks. He was just staring at me. I felt very nervous. I gave the old man my money. He took it with a shaking hand. He leaned forward. He whispered very softly. "Do not go back to your car," he said. I froze. I did not know what to do. The tall man by the drinks started walking toward the front. He walked slowly. His boots made a loud thud on the floor. I looked at the old man. I looked at the tall man. I got scared. I ran. I did not think. I just ran out the door. I got to my car. I looked at the back. The black truck was not on the side of the building anymore. It was parked right behind my car. It was blocking me in. The tall man came out of the store. He did not run. He just walked. He had a metal pipe in his hand. I jumped into my car. I locked the doors. I started the engine. I looked in my mirror. The black truck was inches from my bumper. I put my car in drive. I drove over the grass and the curb. My car hit a rock. It made a loud noise. I did not stop. I drove back toward the main road. I looked in my mirror again. The black truck was following me. It did not have its headlights on. I could only see the shadow of it. I drove very fast. The curves were dangerous. I almost crashed. The truck stayed behind me for a long time. Then it suddenly stopped. It turned around and drove back the other way. I did not stop until I reached a big town. I went to a police station. I told them about the man and the truck. The police went to the gas station the next morning. They found the old man. He was tied up in the back room. He told them the tall man had been there for hours waiting for someone to stop. The police never found the tall man. They never found the black truck. I do not drive in the mountains at night anymore. I always make sure my gas tank is full. I went to my uncle's cabin in the Appalachian mountains. It was a small house made of wood. There was no power. There was no cell service. I arrived late in the afternoon. I had a flashlight and some candles. It got dark very fast. The woods were silent. I sat at the table and ate some cold food. Then I went to bed. In the middle of the night, I woke up. I heard a sound on the porch. It was a heavy step. Thump, thump. I stayed very still. I thought it was a bear. Then I heard the doorknob turn. The door was locked, but the knob clicked. Bears do not turn doorknobs. I grabbed my flashlight. I did not turn it on yet. I crawled to the window near the door. I looked out through a small gap in the curtain. It was pitch black outside. I heard breathing. It was heavy breathing, like a man who had been running. Then I heard a voice. It was a low whisper. "I know you are awake," the voice said. My heart beat very fast. I did not say anything. The person walked around the cabin. I heard their boots in the dirt. Crunch, crunch. They stopped at the back window. They tapped on the glass. Tap, tap, tap. It was a slow rhythm. I took my flashlight and clicked it on. I pointed it at the window. A man was standing there. He was tall. He had no hat. His hair was messy. He was staring right at me. He did not blink. He was wearing a dirty coat. He did not look scared. He just looked at me. Then he smiled. He put his hand on the glass. He started to push. The window was old. The wood was weak. I screamed, "Go away. I have a gun." I did not have a gun. I only had a heavy kitchen knife. The man stopped pushing. He stood there for a long minute. Then he turned around. He walked into the dark woods. I watched him until I could not see him anymore. I did not sleep. I sat in the corner with the knife. I waited for the sun. When it was light, I ran to my car. I drove down the mountain and did not look back. I told the police. They went to the cabin later. They found the back window was unlocked. They also found a pile of wood matches near the door. Someone had been sitting on my porch for a long time before I woke up. I never went back to that cabin. I went hiking in the Appalachian Mountains last October. I wanted to see the leaves change color. I was alone. It was a Monday morning. I thought the trail would be empty. The trail was called the Deep Gap. It goes far into the woods. At first, it was very quiet. I liked the quiet. I walked for about 3 hours. I sat down on a log to eat a sandwich. Then I heard a sound. It was the sound of a footstep. It came from the bushes behind me. I turned around. I did not see anyone. I thought it was a deer. I finished my food and stood up. I started walking again. I heard the sound again. Crunch, crunch. It was the sound of boots on dry leaves. They were matching my rhythm. When I walked, the sound happened. When I stopped, the sound stopped. I felt a cold chill on my neck. I stopped very fast and spun around. I saw a flash of blue behind a tree. It was a blue shirt. "Hello," I yelled. Nobody answered. The woods became very still. No birds were singing. I started walking faster. My heart was beating hard in my chest. I looked back every minute. For a long time, I saw nothing. Then I reached a clear spot on a ridge. I looked down the trail. About 50 yards back, a man stepped out from behind a tree. He was wearing a blue flannel shirt and dirty jeans. He did not have a backpack. He did not have water. He was just standing there. He was staring at me. He did not wave. He did not smile. I felt very unsafe. I did not want to go back that way. But the trail only went one way back to my car. I decided to run. I ran for 10 minutes. I am a good runner. I thought I left him behind. I stopped to breathe. I listened. The woods were silent. Then I heard a whistle. It was a low, slow whistle. It came from the trees right next to me. I didn't look, I just ran. I ran until my lungs burned. I saw the parking lot. My car was the only one there. I reached my car and fumbled with my keys. I got inside and locked the doors. I looked out the window. The man in the blue shirt was standing at the edge of the woods. He was holding a long, thick branch. He just stood there and watched me. He didn't move. I started the engine and drove away fast. I looked in my mirror. He was still standing in the middle of the road, watching my car disappear. I don't go hiking alone anymore. I don't go to that trail at all. The mountains are beautiful, but they aren't always empty.